Well, many parents are not aware that while well-intentioned, Pink Shirt Day is being used by activists to politicise gender theory and sexual identity of school children under the guise of anti-bullying programs, rather than deal appropriately with the issue of school bullying, which we're all concerned about. Pink Shirt Days are predominantly and have always been about promoting an LGBT narrative. And they've proved our point by who they've used in their promo video for this year's event. Let's check it out. So Pink Shirt Day is coming up in a couple of weeks, and if you read the blurb on Pink Shirt Day website, it's about creating a community where all people feel safe, valued and respected, regardless of gender identity, sexual orientation, age, ability, religion or cultural background. Well, valued and respected if you agree with the views of the organisers. Actually, just a note on that, religion was included in people who shouldn't get bullied. This is back in 2019, so you'll see the word religion and faith there. And then in 2021, interestingly, it disappeared. You'll see there's a gap there just in the middle. Being bullied for your faith or religion was gone very quietly. So if you're a student getting bullied because you're Muslim or Christian or Jewish, Hindi, it seemed not to matter to the Pink Shirt Day people. However, it reappeared in 2022 last year to be included, and this year. Perhaps they read our post highlighting this, and so we'll watch that one with interest. But creating a community where all people feel safe, valued and respected, except if you're Posey Parker, or worse still, a TERF, a feminist who believes that a woman is a woman and a man cannot be a woman, like most of us. And I'll come back to this point. But parents need to understand Pink Shirt Day for what it is. It's predominantly about promoting an LGBT narrative. Check the logo. It's kind of fairly clear. Well, it's blatantly obvious when you look at the main logo. And you just have to read the resources and the teacher toolkit to see that. It says rainbow young people are particularly vulnerable to experiencing homophobic, biphobic and transphobic bullying. And it quotes research from back in 2012 which says discrimination and social exclusion on the basis of sexuality or gender identity has been directly linked to an increased risk of depression, anxiety and suicidal thoughts for LGBTQIA plus young people. Well, firstly, that research conclusion isn't true. Yeah, it's all blamed on homophobia, biphobia and transphobia, yet the real statement should read, confusion around sexuality or gender identity can cause mental harm, including depression, anxiety, and suicidal thoughts. The confusion. That would probably be more accurate, but that doesn't fit the narrative. So it's all blamed on phobias. But see, Pink Shirt Day is not inclusive, it's exclusive. It primarily focuses on a very small group of students. In fact, on the resource that I just showed you, I did a check for the words race, ethnicity, religion, disabilities, weight, and reference to appearance, those things that people get bullied for. It was included, all those words, in one sentence. One. However, the words sexuality appeared 4 times, gender 14 times, transgender 6 times in just this 4-page document. And it says it's focused on rangatahi young people who identify as lesbian, gay, bisexual, transgender, queer, intersex, asexual, or other sexuality and gender diverse communities, LGBTQIA+. The resource for students even has a section on campaigning for gender-neutral bathrooms in schools. But see, this is not the best way to deal with bullying and mental health issues experienced by school students. You see, the far greater proportion of students are bullied for some other much more common reasons. For example, disabilities and body image. Of course, you've got the major prevalence of cyberbullying, and there's also significant concerns at the moment about racism and bullying on the basis of ethnicity. Now, unfortunately, overweight students, religious kids, students with acne or a speech impediment or a physical disability, or who are struggling academically, or students from a different culture, they don't have a lobby group or a cross-party parliamentary network. Yet depression and suicide are also associated with these types of bullying. So while the predominant focus of anti-bullying days like Pink Shirt Day want to focus on so-called homophobia and biphobia and transphobia, schools and students and parents want the focus to be on all students who are bullied for whatever reason and who all deserve support and protection. And of course, that's what most schools are doing and will be doing. And they certainly aren't focused on a fundraiser for Pink Shirt Day where the beneficiaries of the donations are groups like Inside Out, the Rainbow Youth Program, already generously funded in part by the government, which is being aimed at children as young as 7 years old and indoctrinating children with the message gender identity as a person's own sense of identification as male, female, neither, both, or somewhere in between. Sometimes people get confused about the difference between gender and sex. Gender refers to the gender that someone identifies with, while sex is usually referred to the sex someone is assigned at birth. End quote. You know, the usual teaching. Oh, and here's the recommended list for book list. Recommended books to read for Pink Shirt Day. Life Isn't Binary, on Being Both, Beyond and In Between. My Shadow is Pink, a book about a young boy born with a pink shadow that loves princesses, dresses, and things not for boys. And according to Amazon, the book empowers LGBTQ children and teaches children the concept of diversity, equality, and inclusion. Another book, Seeing Gender, an illustrated guide to identity and expression, whether LGBTQ+, cisgender, or non-binary, a must-read for curious people who care about how we see and talk about gender and sexuality in the 21st century. And The Savvy Ally, a guide for becoming a skilled LGBTQ+ advocate. Now, look, to be fair, there are some good books recommended, but it's pretty obvious where the emphasis or focus starts. And they're very blatant about what they're pushing. They say thinking about keeping up the mahi, dealing with bullying in the future. And the suggestions are start a rainbow diversity group, celebrate School's Pride Week, bring an Inside Out to the school, review school policies around rainbow inclusivity, making schools safer for trans and gender diverse youth, and legal rights at school for rainbow young people. Yep, so that's how they're thinking about bullying in the future, just focused on those things. And just to confirm, thanks to Pink Shirt Day donations, you'll see down the bottom there, you're funding Inside Out and gender theory. It's pretty clear what the mahi is, and it's definitely not all bullying, sadly. Now look, please note, we're not telling you whether you should or should not observe Pink Shirt Day. It's your decision. We just think you should know what's driving this day and the agenda behind it. Many people simply haven't been aware. We think we should help schools focus on all forms of bullying, on all victims. And of course, that's what most schools have been doing and will continue doing, thankfully. Oh, now, just before I go though, here's a really good reason to avoid Pink Shirt Day this year. The organisers, in their complete tone deafness to what recently occurred at Albert Park with the bullying and assault of a speaker, Posey Parker, who simply wanted to highlight the protection and welfare of women, and the event garnered international attention, didn't it? Negative attention on New Zealand recently. You all remember that. Well, let me just show you. So here are the scenes from Albert Park, and in the pink jacket there is activist Chanel Lal. And they're right at the rostrum where she was standing. Rather ironic that he's in a pink jacket. And so this is them bullying a woman, hounding her out of a public space, someone assaulting her, as we know, taking over the area where she was supposed to be speaking to the public. It was a shocking display of the bully veto. And it was led by Janelle Lal in a pink jacket with the megaphone. That's Posey Parker being whisked away by security after being assaulted. Very proud of themselves. Yeah, okay, we'll leave it there, but here's the key bit. Here's the promo for the anti-bullying Pink Shirt Day this year. Guess who?
Standing up to bullying is...
It's letting them know you've got their back.
It's helping the person leave the situation or take their mind off it.
It's using your words and letting people know that bullying is not okay.
Bullying is not okay. Yep, you couldn't make this stuff up. Apparently, this is the face of anti-bullying. Bullying is fine if the victim deserves it for defending women's rights and speaking up for their safety. Need I say more?